podcast talk show.
Hey, it's Hump Day. They say it's Hump Day, and today is Wednesday, August 14th, and I'm Eddie McAllister. This is Tvfurstar podcast, and I'm here with my good friend Lori McNeil with two L's. She's been around for a while. She is a Shasta Beloved community member, and I'm glad to be with her to talk to her about a special project she's working on. So I'm going to just kind of turn it over to you, Lori. But first, I'm going to have to make a disclaimer. This project, to me, I'm very excited about working on this project because neither I or you were born here. Is that correct?
Right.
And neither I or you lived in the neighborhood that we're going to talk about.
Right.
And neither I or you know a whole lot about the neighborhood, and we're trying to get folks together who know about the neighborhood. So that's the disclaimer. And we're blessed to be able to work on this and bring this history. Housing and history, or is it history and housing?
History and housing.
Go ahead, take it away, Laurie.
So you want me to just begin with talking about the project
No,
right
I'm going
away?
to talk about you.
Talk about me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, I am a member of the Dream Team.
Yeah.
Been in Reading for a while.
Yeah.
And, been involved in quite a few community events. But I think the most important thing I do every day is be a mom. I got two great kids that I'm the parent to. And I also work as a consultant. I have a company that through it, I help nonprofits and institutions use data and any technologies they've invested in to achieve their goals. Yes, I'm a data person.
Oh my goodness!
But I wasn't always a data person. My background is in engineering, materials engineering, and once I relocated to Reading almost 2 decades ago, it necessitated a career change that I was ready for. And I've really found my flow in the world of data analytics. And then also the nonprofit that I'm here representing today, I founded, is also focused on helping community leaders, emerging leaders use data and technology to contribute to their communities as a basis from which, a skills basis from which they can contribute to the greater good. Mm-hmm. And it's really been quite a journey. I've got to meet people from all over the world, been inspired by so many young people who really have a passion about the climate, passion about housing issues, passion about racial justice, and they are, digital native kid generation, data and tech people that are really organizing in their way to try to bring these skills forward and fix some of the issues.
I noticed you didn't say the name, though.
It's the Civic Hacker. It's probably backwards on the camera. Civic Hacker Network, and we mean hacking in a good way, right?
Yeah,
hacking in the sense of finding a novel solution to a problem.
I had to tell a little story when I first heard about this Civic Hacker. What in the world is this? I don't know if I should be involved in this, but since it was Lori, I said must be okay. But the word hacker threw me off, But like you said, hacking in a good way, data.
Right.
Using data, data to hack everything sometimes, but civic is the key word, I think. Mm-hmm. Civic hacker. So that makes it, like John Lewis would say, good trouble.
Good trouble.
Good trouble.
Absolutely. And our motto is problems have solutions. So we're not about despair. We're about looking for solutions.
Oh, okay. So you talked about yourself.
Yes.
And Civic Hacker.
Yeah.
And now you want to talk about the project that you are working on.
Yes, let's talk about the project. And actually this idea about hacking and kind of needing to clarify is a really good way to segue into talking about the project, because many people in Reading would have maybe been introduced to this concept of hacking when Rachel Hatch brought projects to do for the National Day of Civic Hacking to Reading, and I remember that was a big deal. Some
Whoa.
folks from the national thing like came, and we had kind of our own Reading novel approach
Well, I
to
didn't know that.
what we would do. It's true.
Yeah.
And in that case, we were working on hacking the narrative about Reading. We did a bunch of work on our Wikipedia. Looking at what information was out there about our great city, and trying to address, really kind of a narrative issue, we would say. And it's
The
interesting,
narrative of
shout out
Reading.
to our girl Rachel. But,
Yes.
all these years
Rachel Hatch.
later, yeah, here we are. History and
Mhm.
housing, in a sense, kind of is touching on that same, in a big way, on that same thing, hacking the narrative. Or we talk about changing the cultural climate, right? So
Oh
what does
boy,
that
my
consist
favorite
of?
words
I
right now.
know, I
Yeah.
know. The narratives, the beliefs, the norms. And so if we look at what the focus of this project is, which is and the Black neighborhood that used to exist on Linden Avenue. A lot of
Linden
people know
Avenue.
that as Mercy. Linden Avenue still exists, of course, but Mercy Canyon, some people call it. It's an area where a road leads up to City of Reading's decommissioned dump over on the west side of
Yes.
town.
Mhm.
And a lot of people know about the MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. Center,
Yes.
but we maybe don't think about why there is an MLK Center in Reading, let alone in that specific area.
Mhm.
And more people don't know about the neighborhood and the history
Yeah.
of that
Yeah,
historically Black
I have to
area.
continue my disclaimer. I worked at the Martin Luther King Center for 8
Mhm.
years, and I got to know the neighborhood and the people in the neighborhood, and I didn't know much about Linden Avenue until FaithWorks put in a bench dedicated to the ABC store.
Mhm.
I'm like, who is the ABC store? And I found out, actually, I did meet, oh my goodness, the name just went right past me. Pearly B.
Mm.
Pearly B in an ABC store, and then Linda Morgan, she let me know something about her family, this store. So there's a monument right there on West and Linden
Mhm.
dedicated to the ABC store. But, working in that neighborhood for 8 years, I got to know. But like I said, not being from here, but learning more about the neighborhood. And this is continued on learning more working with this project.
Right. And not being from here, I think a lot of folks who are not from here sometimes get interesting feedback if
Yeah.
you are a person of color, um, where the narrative really does seem to uh, lead to a lot of incredulity from people about if you are a person of color, like whether or not you are from here, how far your people may
Mhm.
go, or if you belong, right? And that's also part of it is once we start to look, as you know, Eddie, like through the Voices of the Golden Ghost Project,
Yes.
if you care to look and learn, you do find that many families have very deep roots going back generations in this
Yes.
area. And so, when I heard about that there were houses in that area and that they were predominantly owned by Black people, I went to go look for more information about this because I was like, "What?"
What?
Like that's crazy. But in
Yes.
in attempting to verify, did not find any information. I found like one small thing actually, but I just thought that it was pretty sad.
Untold
Um,
information.
and especially now as we're getting into the project and speaking to people that are still living
Yes.
history,
Living
our
history.
friend Miss Linda, so many families that are
Mhm.
still here, and yet there's many people who have forgotten or never knew about their history in this area.
Yeah, I think about the history of the area and living it right now. I go to Second Baptist Church. The
Hmm.
Second Baptist Church was on Linden Avenue.
Right.
And Second Baptist Church is 77 years old. And I'm 77 years old. But I'm not from here. But once again, another connection. And it's just really blowing me away how I'm connected with that. But the church being on that property. And,
Yeah.
and and certainly there's other things like the Linden Avenue housing and FaithWorks being on that Linden property. When I came to Reading, there were two neighborhoods were identified as the hole in the hood.
Mm.
So I think I was wondering why they were named that way, and I think Linden Avenue was named at Hole because of the ditch that was created by, I don't know.
It was kind of a
Yeah,
natural runoff and
right.
then became runoff from the dump, and
Yeah,
erosion
from the dump.
happens.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to a lady yesterday, and she mentioned the ditch. She's
Hmm.
from the neighborhood, and she says something about the ditch and the bridge and everything.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
man,
still there.
very interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
it is. And where one may wonder, like, how does this come into the mission of Civic Hacker Network? And this person who's not from Reading.
Yeah.
And so um really it has to do, the organization is focused on supporting people who want to be the truth bringers, who want to provide narrative equity or want to address whatever it is in their community. And the use of mapping technologies, the use of mapped data, is a very common theme in a lot of the projects that the different members work on, or how they
Yes.
demonstrate change or how they advocate for change. And so with this project, we, in addition to serving the memories and honoring the Black history that we have here locally, and preserving it in a way that our today's technologies allow us to do, and making it accessible, we're also then creating a case study so that this work can be replicated in other communities more easily. A lot of the projects that are similar that come out of academia are somewhat closed.
Mhm.
And the goal with this one is to be open and more community based. It's unique in that regard. And also, a resource for other people to be able to, hopefully even in this community, right? Because there are other neighborhoods that
Yes.
have stories.
Oh
And
man, so many stories.
so yeah, for people to step up and get the oral histories from their elders and get the data from that's publicly available, and start to put that together and make it available, so that we don't have a bunch of folks walking around not knowing just the history that's not even a full, that generation hasn't passed from the earth and we don't know that they were here.
Yeah. Like you just said, maybe the neighborhoods will start to wonder what was it like, in the history of this neighborhood. And I experienced a couple of weeks ago, when I was there for the mapping, and that things change, or your thought process, or when you start to look at the map
Hmm.
of the neighborhood, and it kind of comes together. So what's the next steps, Laurie? When's the next meeting? We got to let people know. This is
Yeah.
how we probably will help them, let them know when the next meeting is.
Yeah. So we have, due to, thankfully, California Humanities provided a micro grant to allow for public programming around this project. And so we have oral history workshops, that the next one that's happening is August 29th. And if you want to know specifics on the date and location, we have a Facebook page for History and Housing Project, and so we do keep all the events published there. And also,
Mhm.
California Humanities publishes
That's
them.
Thursday,
It's a
August
Thursday, yes,
Thursday,
day of the
August
week.
Thursday, August 29th.
And then the following month, we'll do it on that last Thursday, which I'm not gonna. I think it's September
Uh-huh.
26th. And then there's the story mapping workshops, which are about using the
Story
research
mapping.
materials
Yes.
that have been collected for the project, to try to show people how you can start to present this information, make it available online, and construct a very accessible narrative where somebody doesn't have to be a genealogist or a researcher or a geospatial expert to start to understand this information in the way that we're talking about presenting it. So those workshops are um, also open to the public, and I
Hmm.
believe the next one is all on August 22nd. But again, look for, and that is a Thursday.
August
Also,
22nd?
I think so, but I could have it on the 29th. Um,
With the
but yes, again, Facebook page.
okay,
Look at the
Facebook.
schedule. I know all the
History
story
and Housing
history and housing
Facebook.
Facebook page. All the
That's where you can
story
find
map
information.
workshops are up, and the
Yeah.
oral history ones will be posted
So,
soon.
so for someone that doesn't really go to Facebook or social media, how do they find out about the oral history workshop coming up? How do
You
they?
can look online at the California Humanities website, because they have a schedule of events for their grantees.
Uh-huh.
And also that Facebook page is open to the public, so you don't have to have an account to be able to look at it.
Yeah. But what about somebody who doesn't
If you don't
do
have the
online?
internet
Don't have the internet online?
and you're hearing
They
my
don't-
voice,
Yes, okay.
you can
Yeah.
email
that's
me.
what- That's where I'm getting.
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting.
But you have to have the internet for that.
Yeah. What about
Yeah,
email?
if you want to reach out to me, especially
there
if you're
you
listening
go.
to this
Yeah.
and you're like, hey,
Hey.
I've got photos, I've got information about this, or maybe you have a strong opinion or feeling about
Yeah.
the way that the story should be represented, because that is also something that's really important for this. Is we want to tell the story that the neighborhood descendants and former residents want to tell about the vibrant community that was there. So anyway, Lori, Lori, at civic-hackers.org is how you can email me directly.
One more time.
Lori at civic-hackers.org.
With an S.
Yeah, with plural.
That org.
There's a bunch of us.
Yeah. There's 2 L's in McNeil.
But yeah. But you don't need that.
No, McNeil's not in it.
It's not. It's just Lori. We kept it simple. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to make sure that folks know how to get a hold of you and get the dates. They're coming up soon.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
And the location, maybe we're not saying the location because we're not sure.
We're sure, but we'll wait till we're really sure. Yeah. The story map workshops happen in the conference room in the IOF hall.
Okay.
In downtown Reading.
I forgot the address.
Art Hunger IOF hall. That.
Oh my goodness! I used to know the address. That's where we had a Juneteenth celebration.
Yeah.
And I used to give out the address, and I
People
don't know
need to just go to the page and like it and follow it.
Like it and follow it. The history in housing.
Mm-hmm.
This is something really that untold history of a particular neighborhood that we all know about. Is named after Dr. Martin Luther King neighborhood. You know, when I was working in the MLK Center and then start working as a community organizer, when I have community meetings at the Linden Avenue conference room, and I'd always tell them, I said, you live in a neighborhood where you're named you live in a neighborhood where Martin Luther King is the name of this neighborhood, and he was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. That's one. And there's a national holiday named after him. So you're in a very special neighborhood. And then to know about this history of Linden Avenue and everything just compounds that this is a very historical neighborhood. Okay, Lori, well, thanks a lot for coming. I'm really glad that I finally got your beautiful face on Tvfurstar.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to share the project. And
yes.
Hopefully people will find it and add their stories to to all of it. Yeah.
And tell it. Tell it like it is.
Yeah. We need to preserve the stories. So.
We don't want folks to say, well, I didn't know. Yeah. Well, we're trying to let you know.
Yeah.
All right.
If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Podcast